All right, hey guys, Jason here. We're up here at Jimmy Britt right here in Statesboro, Georgia. These guys are fantastic here. And we have some Jeep information, okay? And it's interesting to think about. So we're gonna dive into it because we know we got the Wrangler, we got the Gladiator, two of the most capable, toughest built trucks there are. Plain and simple. I don't care what anybody says. People chime in the comments, Jeep's not a truck, it's a toy. Okay, we hear all this stupid crap all the time. It is an incredible, incredible vehicle, no doubt about it. Hands down amazing and built robust, okay? Strong and tough as nails. One of those features that makes it so tough is we have a solid front axle on this. What's a solid front axle? How does a solid front axle work? Well, rather than each wheel having its own independent setup and CV axles, we have this full solid front axle underneath there that you can see, and those U-joints in there that you can see right in there, that setup in there. Okay, actually CV on a lot of these now too. In the inside, they're CV joints, but still solid axles. But we have this setup on these things, and it is a very robust system. Not only is it super robust, it offers massive articulation. There's a lot of advantage to having a solid front axle. The Ram 2500s that is sitting right here, this amazing truck right here, has a solid front axle. Yes, the one at Lou, look, they parked a little tight on that curb. Lou scraping that tire up. But this one right here has solid front axles in it. The Ford Super Duty has solid front axles in it. These are beautiful things. But those are it. Realistically, in the truck world, we have the Ford's F-250, 350, 450 and up that have a solid front axle. Ram 2500, 3500 and up has a solid front axle. And then we have the Jeep Gladiator that has a solid front axle, and the Jeep Wrangler that has a solid front axle. Ineos, Grenadier, I mean, there's some other oddball ones, but for the most part, those are your solid front axle vehicles. Now, we're hearing that Jeep is possibly going to independent front suspension. Okay, IFS in the front. What does that mean, and am I gonna like it? Well, what it means is with that independent front suspension, you no longer have that differential in the middle and that full axle, and now you have control arms, two upper and lower control arm right there, and each wheel gets to do what it wants. Okay, so in a solid front axle, it's a solid axle, and it does this, okay, and it articulates this way, wheel to wheel. Independent suspension does this, but independent suspension can only go so far. That's all it can do, is go so far. Is all it's got is that distance right there, where a solid front axle can articulate tremendously. Big factor. There's also the durability factor of it. Solid front axles are generally considered tougher and stronger and can handle more abuse, which is also the reason that most of the vehicles that are independent front suspension, they are pretty shy on giving a front locker, where solid front axle ones, they give a lot of them because of the fact that you have that capability to have you have the strength to handle it. So very big factor in there. Well, what if Jeep is going to IFS? Okay, for the Wrangler and for the next Gladiator, would you buy it? Only you can answer that. Would I buy it? It depends. So the robustness could still be there if they build it right. And what do I mean by that? Well, if we go over here, we'll pop off of here again, and we look at some of the builds and the way things are done today, they can make them strong enough to handle that kind of stuff. Where's that Moab? Right over here. I wonder if this thing is, I'm assuming it's probably got that CV axle in there. And you can see it, see that axle, see that CV axle in there? I know it's kind of hard and dark, but see it's got a CV joint, not a CV axle. It was still a full live axle, full solid front axle, but rather than U-joints, it's got a CV joint with a CV boot in there now. So they started doing this a few years ago, and Jeep is already starting to head in that direction a little bit. This system has proven itself to be very, very good. The independent front suspension would give Jeep, Gladiator and Gladiator and Wrangler, it would give them both much better on-road manners. Okay, there's just no denying it. It would handle, not only would it handle better on the road, it would handle off-road, the chops, the potholes, and the bumps a lot better. Where this shines is in two categories and two categories only. One of them is in the durability aspect, and I do believe if Jeep does it right, and with the availability of parts that are available, especially for Jeep, they could do it right, and they could build independent front suspension on this thing that has the strength and durability. I do believe they could do that. So if they did that, I'd be okay with it. The other aspect where the solid front axle shines again is the articulation. A lot of true diehard Jeep guys will hate the fact that they lose the articulation, especially the rock crawlers. To be able to have that kind of flex with that axle will be a huge loss to them. However, it will be a huge advantage to the other 99% of people that use it in better ride quality and stuff like that to deal with. So, and for what I do, I really don't care. I'm okay either way. I like the durability aspect matters. But if they build the IFS the right way and make it that way, it could be there. Now, IFS is not the end of this stuff, okay? Pretty soon, we're already starting to see it on a lot of vehicles out there now too, which is IRS, independent rear suspension. I don't like that. Okay, you look under a Tahoe or you look under a lot of these vehicles out there, and it's pretty sad with the control arms and the shock setups and the stuff that are under them and how low they are. I'm not really a huge fan of that. I'm also not sure that, again, that I'm a huge fan of the IFS in the front on this. Given a choice, I will take the solid front axle all day long, but I am in the minority on that. So are all the rock crawlers, so are the people that use it. I don't think it would be bad for the next version to go IFS. I think it would drive more sales, or people would jump on board with this thing and would want to take advantage of it, as long as they do it right. Now, what about those rock crawlers and the people that are diehard and want the solid front axle? They're like, no, I won't buy it without a solid front axle. I believe, because it is a Jeep, Jeep is one of the only vehicles made today in the world that you could actually build the entire thing from aftermarket all the way through and never even have to call Jeep for anything. There's so much aftermarket support and companies and things out there that are happening. I believe that if you really wanted that, I believe that they will be able to put solid front axles on the front. They'll have conversions for that in no time. It's not that big a deal. Remember, we did buy them and drive them kind of people, or just slightly mod them with some tires and a lift. We are one set of people. There's people out there that custom build buggies and rear steers and do all kinds of crazy things and put, 44-inch tires on them. And there's a world of people out there that will make whatever you want it to be. There's also the aftermarket, like AMW, America's Most Wanted. And they will have those, they'll probably start up a whole new conversion system that will put you a 5.7 in it, and they'll put you a solid, put you a 80 series in the front end or 60 series in the front end of this thing on a solid axle. You'll be good to go. So I believe there'll still be options on there, and I think there'll still be ways to go, and I think it could be a win for everybody. However, I hope it doesn't happen. I really just wish they keep it like it is, simply because there are a lot of us that are die-hard solid front axle guys for the strength and the durability, and I like the abuse they can take, the holes I can hit and what I can do with it, and how it just stays straight and keeps going, rather than needing alignments all the time, things getting bent out of whack, breaking tie rod. I don't have those issues. Okay, solid front axles are, the whole system is just robust and strong, and that's why I hate to see it go. And again, as I told you, there's very limited vehicles that still have it today. The ones that have them are true workhorses. We'd like to see that. But in my opinion, with the way talks are and the things we're hearing, there's a very good chance that the next generation Gladiator and the next generation Wrangler will be very cool with that new front clip, new Hurricane engine possibly, 5.7 Hemi being in there possibly. We know for sure a 392 is going to be in there. We know all this stuff is coming, but I think IFS is going to be what's going to lead the next one. That's my opinion. I'd like to know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.